to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay.
Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now.
Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com. Brought to you by Glisten and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out show. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. I'm so excited about today's show because we're going to be talking about success. Now, success comes in different forms. You might feel successful because you're living your dream in terms of your career and really feeling accomplished at what you've achieved. Success might be that you've built an amazing family, that you're a mom who's very giving to your husband and kids, or that you're a father and you're proud of the impact that you've made in the lives of others. You know, whatever success looks like to you, that's the vision you want to hold near and dear to your heart. So if you are not feeling successful in life, this is the time to listen in, because over the course of this show, we're going to be taking your calls so that you can get the motivation to move yourself forward and feel that success through your veins and coming out your pores so that you can live who you want to be, not just want to be a certain person or want certain success, but really live that success. And then we have a very special interview coming up in our next segment with Jim Abbott. I'm going to share with you all about his successes as we go along. So again, the number to call in is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. You know, for me, success has really been one to scratch my head and figure out over time. I say that to you because when I graduated, which feels like a bazillion years ago, from the University of Oregon, I had a lot of dreams for my life. I wanted to be a reporter, a newscaster, a talk show host, you name it. But then my vision took a jump. I started to not see so well, and I thought perhaps I'd have to give up on my dreams. But what I've learned in life is that you never have to give up. You just have to get creative. You just have to learn how to adapt, how to become more flexible, how to navigate achieving your dreams in a different way. So know that just like how I had to get creative, how I had to really find ways to excel at my dream and still not let that go, you don't have to let go of your dreams. Just let's take this time to put a plan of action together so we can move forward and make sure that you do feel successful inside and out. We're going to go to the lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Tell us what's going on.
Recently I've been really trying to focus on myself and meditate on my heart. And I'm having a very tough time to having access into it. Is there any way that you can, show me a way of how to do this thing?
You know, you bring a really good question up, and I guess I just have a couple questions for you. Is there something that's heavy on your heart, something that's blocking your ability to feel?
No, I don't feel. As soon as I close my eyes, tons of other, things comes to my mind that doesn't even let me get close to really meditate on my heart. Like everything,
Yeah.
So many other thoughts comes in and block everything. And
what I suggest is that what you want to do is figure out a way to really feel your body. So, for example, if I'm sitting here right now in this chair and I concentrate really hard on feeling the blood in my body going through my veins, feeling my heartbeat, feeling even an ache and a pain. That's okay. You want to feel that. When you feel things, that's when you feel more alive. That's when you're more in tune. So even at night, let's say you can't sleep, what you want to do is lay in bed and start at the bottom, start at your toes and work your way all the way up to your head and really feel your toes. Feel your nails. Feel your arch, your heel, your calves, your thighs, all the way up. And what's going to happen is you're going to become very relaxed. Or you might fall asleep because you get so bored. It could go either way. But the thing is that is how you tap into feeling yourself through. Now, when you start at the toes and you go up, you're taking a long enough time to feel that part of your body that when you get to your heart, you're really present. And when you get to your heart, you want to bask in love, as much forgiveness, great gratitude as you can. Try to smile. Even when you get to your head, feel yourself smiling. Feel your breath inside your body and then open your mouth and feel it go out. That process will allow you to tap into where you want to go. Is that something you've tried, or is that something you can do?
Yeah, I've been trying that. My problem is, as soon as I try it, as soon as I feel my heartbeat, it's just like suddenly I feel my heartbeat, and suddenly just like, oh, you can feel your heartbeat. That you can feel your heartbeat just throws me off again, off the track.
But here's the thing. That's an opportunity. That's not saying that you can't do it. That's just training. Every good athlete has to train. Every top professional has to be educated. So it's the same process. It's just going to take time and really feeling that passion in your body. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there as well. There's wonderful meditation groups that you can join, whether that be in person or tapping into a community online. There's a lot of like-minded people who are also trying to get to that same place. So what I'd like for you to do is every night go through this process, continue to go through it. And I promise you this, it will get easier and you will start to feel your heart and be more in tune with that. Is that something you can do?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really do.
Absolutely. You're such a dear, and keep us posted on how things go and we'll be thinking of you. Okay?
We'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. So really being relaxed and finding a way to tap into your inner being, your passion, that's where all this success comes from, is you want to feel alive inside. So that caller was right on in how we take the steps to get to being successful. We're going to go to our next caller. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I live in Orange County. I graduated college a couple years ago, and I've been living with my parents, and I've been working ever since. And I feel like I'm finally at a place where I'm financially stable, and my career is picking up steam. And I'm just wondering if I should keep living with them or if it's time to move on. And I like the conveniences that living with them offers, so I'm not in a rush, but I'm not sure when I'll know, like when the right time is.
You know what? I think you will know. And I have to wonder if maybe there's been some chitter-chatter in your ears about you moving out. Why are you living at home? Should you stay living at home? The thing is home is where the heart is, right? Home is great. And if you have a good relationship with your parents, your family, really relish in that time. Enjoy that time. I know my father passed away 3 years ago, and even before that, my parents were divorced, and I lost a lot of time with him. And so that time you will never be able to get back. So I say you just enjoy it, and you'll know when you need to move because it'll just be the right time. You'll know it. It'll be a new chapter of your life. Maybe you move in with a girlfriend. Maybe you just get your own place. Maybe it's a boyfriend. Who knows? But you'll know. And I just, in the few minutes, seconds here that I've known you, I can just tell that you just love your family. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I wish, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of us listening today that wish we had that same closeness. So just really celebrate that and Go home tonight, sit with them, enjoy them. And when you're ready to make that move, take that step. But by all means, I think you're on the right track. I wouldn't make a change until you're ready.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, have a great day, okay? Thank you for calling in. Okay. Really good calls in this first segment. And again, we'll be taking more of your calls at the end of the show, so feel free to call in at 800-333-0001. And again, success is not just an award, a plaque, a trophy. Success is when you can put a smile on your face and say, I'm happy. That is success, to be happy. To be surrounded by friends and family that fill you up inside. We can't take our money with us at the end of our life. We can't take the awards with us. We can't take the screaming crowds cheering for us with us. But what you do take with you are the memories. What you do take with you is the love, the relationships that you had with others. So when wondering if you should make a change, don't be afraid to make a change, because again, part of being in this life is to grow, to evolve, to stretch, to try to reach higher. And when I say reach higher, it isn't because the life that you have now is not good or small or anything. It's just part of who we are to want to explore, to want to try new things. That's what life's about. So think about, over the course of the show today, what success would you like to have in your life? What would you feel that would bring you the most happiness? Something that would be attainable, something that you might even be able to achieve this weekend or over the course of this month. And then what we want to consider is, what action plan can you put together to achieve that success, to achieve that happiness? And not every success takes money. Not everything that you do has to be attached to a financial expense. It's really about feeling your life through. I know for myself, having a lot of friends in my life that I can turn to, that's success. Having a career that I'm proud of, that's success. And most of all, being able to look at myself in the mirror, be able to reflect on really good moments that made me smile, that's success. So think about in your life, what are successes to you? We'll be right back after this next break.
Isn't this dinner party wonderful? Jeanette and Bill did so much planning, and the house looks great.
Well, it was almost canceled. Did you hear that Bill was really sick with the flu 2 weeks ago?
No, I had no idea. I've been so busy at work. But my coworker's toddler was in the hospital with flu, too. Is Bill okay?
It was pretty serious and aggravated his asthma. Bill got sick quickly with a high fever. Fortunately, Jeanette got him to the doctor right away. The doctor said it was flu and prescribed a medication that helped him get back on his feet.
I didn't know flu was so serious until I heard Bill say he felt like he'd been hit by a truck. He missed a big meeting at work.
Well, thank goodness Jeanette had gotten her flu shot. Because, she's expecting.
What? Oh, man.
I guess that was another thing you guys didn't know either.
A message from the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more tax-free driving tips, visit stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Today, you hit the snooze bar. You checked your email. You checked your fantasy football team. You rejected an insulting trade offer. You ate your lunch. You did all the things that one normally does the day before a 175-mile-per-hour hurricane blows through your city, leaving it in a state of ruin. You never know when the day before is the day before. Prepare for tomorrow at ready.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. We are just having some really great calls with our callers. And again, we'll be taking more of your calls at the end of the show. But today we're talking about success, how to achieve success in our life, and how to even put that vision for what we want. What kind of success do we want for our lives? And I really want to introduce now our very special guest, Jim Abbott. Honestly, being born with no right hand, you would think that would limit his success, but instead, he had amazing athletic success, one being that he pitched a no-hitter when playing for the Yankees against the Cleveland Indians in 1993, and that's a huge accomplishment. So I'd like to welcome Jim Abbott. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Nancy. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, Jim, I am telling you, you cannot search your name and not find a bazillion videos about you. You are out there, and you are successful in so many ways. And truly athletically successful, and then also very much so with friends and family in your life. I'd like for you to kind of take us back a bit. Obviously, you were born with no right hand, but I thought it was very endearing when I learned about your story of how close you were with your father in terms of him working with you in terms of your athletics and so forth. Can you share with us about that?
Well, I appreciate that, Nancy. You know, my parents were my heroes. I was very lucky in my life. A lot of people, attribute my success, to personal motivation and determination and courage and all those things. But to be honest with you, I just had a lot of great support in my life. I had a lot of great people who believed in me along the way and gave me opportunity. And, that starts right with my parents. They had me at a very early age. They gave up a lot of things in their own life to see that I was brought up in a good way. And, they didn't deter me from what I wanted to do. They whatever it was, whether it was baseball, whether it was football, they encouraged me to play. They encouraged me to get involved. They encouraged me to interact with other kids. And most of all, they made me feel as though, even though I was born without my right hand, and that was a challenge, they made me feel as though I was up to the challenge and that I would be up to the challenges in my life. And I think that's the greatest gift of all.
Absolutely. There's probably parents listening today who have a child with a disability of some kind, and maybe they're trying to navigate those waters and figure out how they can be of the most help to their child. I'm glad you had that experience. What would you say to a child or a parent who's listening today who doesn't have that support?
Well, that's a difficult thing because I get a lot of cards and emails, Twitter, tweets these days from kids and families and moms and dads, in similar positions, even from coaches who may have a child on a team, facing a similar challenge that I faced growing up. And you'd be amazed at the stories of discouragement. There are people out there who truly don't believe, that people can rise above expectations or stereotypes or, the quote-unquote label. So I know it's tough. I think that's probably a mixed bag in all of our lives. I think we're going to come across both encouragement and discouragement. And I think it's important. The challenge is to understand, be aware of where you place your emphasis. What influences in your life do you allow yourself to buy into? And It's not easy. I can't say that I always chose to focus entirely on the positive, but I did find the times in my life I was most successful, I was able to filter out some of the negativity, some of the pessimism, and focus on truly what was moving me forward instead of holding me back.
Well, you had a lot of tenacity. I know that. I love the story where when you were a kid, you kept throwing the ball against, I don't know if it was like a brick wall or something, and continually were trying to catch it and get your speed up. I mean, that just says a lot about where you were as a youngster, just saying, I'm not going to let this hold me back.
Well, sports were an outlet for me. I grew up, and I say this, and people look at me sideways sometimes, but I grew up in the great town of Flint, Michigan, and it's a tough town, and it was when I was a kid, and but it was a great town. It was filled with great people and people who gave me an opportunity, and when there were moments of disappointment in my life, and when there were moments of insecurity, I always turn to sports, and it's not the only answer. There's a lot of things out there. You know, you find something that you love to do, and for me, it was baseball, or it was football, or it was basketball in the wintertime. And, you know, if I did have a lonely time, I would go shoot baskets, and I would, you know, just kind of imagine myself in successful situations. And it wasn't a better way to live or some, incredible, I wasn't following any manual. It was just what I turned to. And so sports provided that outlet for me, and I've always been thankful for that in my life, that even to this day, when it gives me a sense of confidence, and it provides a passion and something that I love to do.
Yeah. You have had so many accomplishments. I mean, I was going through your bio, and it was like amazing just how many successes you've had. But what was the one that stands out to you where you were just having that pinch me moment? I can't even believe they're all cheering for me. I can't even believe I did that. What is that moment for you?
Wow, that's a great question, Nancy. I don't know. Personally, I'm very proud of my family. I'm proud of raising 2 daughters, and I'm married to a wonderful gal, and I honestly pinch myself a lot thinking of all the blessings that have come our way. But professionally, it's funny, the things that you accomplish when they're happening, it moves so fast, it's hard to kind of take it all in and grasp it. You're like, wow, but there's always the next thing. And I look back now, I guess I'm more proud now of some of the things, a no-hitter in the major leagues for the New York Yankees. That's a really cool thing. And I don't think the magnitude of it really hits you until, you've been out of the game for a while and you've had a chance to let your life slow down a little bit and appreciate. There's times when I think back to my major league career, and I've been retired for a while now. Gosh, I didn't believe that was me. I can't believe I was out there on that mound right there pitching and doing well and having thousands of people cheer. And, I'm proud of that. It makes me very happy to have been out there. But I don't think at the time when it's happening you can truly appreciate, how special it is.
Absolutely. People would know you as Jim Abbott, but to you, I'm Jim. And who is Jim today?
Well, I'm lucky. I get a chance, much like you do in your life, to try to make a difference. I do some motivational speaking throughout the country, and although I'm not always fond of that term, I think motivational speaking can have sometimes a negative connotation. But I do get a chance to share my story, and I get a chance to go out there and meet a lot of great people in a lot of different environments and share the experiences that I had, and hopefully in a very true way. I don't shy away from some of the disappointments and the struggles that I went through, and so that means a lot to me to have that opportunity. It's been tremendously rewarding post-baseball life for me. I have a chance to mentor and communicate with a lot of kids facing physical challenges throughout the country, both on a personal basis with email and cards, letters, and all those types of things, but also on the field with the Challenger Division, Special Olympics, a lot of different things that I've been involved with that have given my life outside of family a lot of great meaning.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, is there anything you wish you had done differently?
That's a great question. I not really. I'm proud of everything that I've done. I've made mistakes. I wish I wouldn't have been so hard on myself when I was playing. I took losing very hard. I was very competitive. Being born with one hand. I don't want to create some narrative that wasn't there, but I do think it provided a drive and an ambition. And I really desperately wanted to do well. And I think sometimes that ambition and that drive pushed me beyond, what was a healthy determination. I really, and I took failure hard, and I really struggled with that in my career. And I have found it difficult to bounce back. And at times that felt like a positive, but I don't think it was, looking back on it. I wish I would have been a little bit more forgiving of failure, learned from it, and moved on quicker.
You know what, Jim? That resonates with me completely, 100%, because I'm actually legally blind, and I know I've put myself in overdrive for years, doing a lot of things, just kind of Nancy against time, and I can appreciate that. As we go into the next segment, I really want to share with our listeners about how you adapted over your life. And I know that's a big word, adapt, for you, even when you're out speaking publicly. And, just before we go into the next break, as we kind of close out this part of our interview, what would you say to those who are in that same place, who are in overdrive, who are feeling as though they need to reach crazy amounts of success, to maybe not to overcompensate, but to not disguise, but to go beyond having a disability? What would you say to those people?
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with passion. There's nothing wrong with drive, and I just think there has to be a healthy balance, to use an old tired cliche. I think you find what you love to do and go after it with all your heart, but realize that failure is something to learn from, it's something to move on from, and just keep moving forward. Don't let any little setback or what somebody else might think deter you from where you want to go.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So we'll be coming right back, Jim. We'll be continuing our interview, and we'll be right back after this break. Thank you. We'll be back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school. Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you, and we are back to the Living Full Out show. I am Nancy Solari, and we are continuing our interview with Jim Abbott. And Jim, although he was born with no right hand, went on to have very measurable success, amazing accomplishments as a pitcher, having a no-hitter with the Yankees against the Cleveland Indians in 1993, as well as so many accomplishments. I'd like to welcome back Jim Abbott. Welcome.
Thank you, Nancy.
So in your speaking career, and as you work with the youth, I know one of the major themes that you share with folks about is adapting. And why does adapt, that word, means so much to you?
Well, I don't want to get too long-winded. I know we don't have a lot of time, but adapt is basically, everyone knows its meaning and its definition, but adapt is an acronym, and I'm very proud to be a baseball player who knows what an acronym is. But,
right.
But it's just a way for me to sort of, talk about the lessons that I took away from my playing career and in my life, really. I talk about, the letters of adapt: adjustability, determination, accountability, perseverance, and trust. And each of those words sort of gives me a touchstone to look back on some of the lessons that I took away from my playing days. Adjustability, the willingness just to do things a little bit differently, to make, sometimes it was just a small adjustment, a different way of thinking that allowed me to, play the game, get in the game in the first place, switch the glove on and off, and play catch and throw with one hand, and hold the bat a little bit differently. And, I was benefited greatly, as I mentioned earlier, by coaches and parents who helped me to make those small adjustments to get in the game. And
I have to say, Jim, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, really, the way that you would switch that glove and do that, I mean, that took a lot of practice and really very talented in the way you did that. So I think that's an important thing to bring up. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And like I said, it did take a little bit of creativity with my dad out in the front yard. And just to wrap up adapt, I won't go through the whole thing, but it's basically if I get a letter from a young baseball player somewhere and out there, and he says, what can I do? Or I think there's three important things: creativity, determination, and belief. And in essence, that's what adapt talks about. The willingness to do things a little bit differently, staying determined on the course that you're on, and at the end of the day, just believing in who you are and what you can do. And if you can enter into any circumstance with those three attributes, I think you're going to show your best self. You may be successful, you may not, but you're going to show what you can do as close to as good as you can do it every time, and that's really our goal, right?
Absolutely. And the thing is today we're talking about success, how to reach for success in our lives. And did you always have that vision for your life, that you wanted to play in the major leagues, that you wanted to, be in the Olympics, that how did your vision evolve over time?
I didn't really, to be honest with you. Those things seem so far away for me and highly improbable. I dreamed them, of course. I wanted, my heroes were major league players. But for me, the goal was always the next team. It was always, the next rung on the ladder, so to speak. To make that high school team, really seemed far off to me. It seemed hard and it seemed achievable, but it was the next goal. And, to play on the best Connie Mack, which is a league of baseball that in my area at the time, to play on the best team in our area was something I aspired to and dreamed about and wanted to. So, I wanted to play in the big leagues, but it wasn't I'm going to get there. It was more like I want to get to the next step. After I did well in high school, I wanted to play college baseball, and it wasn't really until I had some success with the United States team and the Olympic team, I was playing with great college players from around the country, that I had a chance to say, well, maybe maybe the major leagues are within the realm of possibility. So, it was step by step.
Well, I think that's really important for all of us to take in at this time, because a lot of times we either bite off more than we can chew, or sometimes we have a vision that's so big, so grand, and we want that instant gratification. We want it now. I love that you literally took it step by step and really allowed yourself to relish in each of those steps and feeling accomplished. That's so wonderful to hear, and a lesson I will take with me past today for sure. You also talk about trust. Why was trust such an important factor in your success?
Well, I love trust, and thank you for bringing it. It's the last letter of my ADAPT talk, and for me, it's the lesson that I took away from baseball. So much of pitching is about delivery. It's about belief. It's about confidence. It's about trust. That last bit of trust is you release the baseball. That belief that you're throwing the right pitch, and that last bit of yourself that you put into it gives a ball an extra bit of life, gives the ball an extra bit of movement or velocity. It's a true lesson. Ask any scout, ask any manager, ask anybody in baseball about the importance of trust and belief. And I think that just translates so well to my post-baseball life and to some of the things I see my kids doing and some of the things that people I get to speak to are doing, because the difference in life is that last little bit of trust and belief that we put into things, just like pitching. That last little bit of effort, that last little bit of intention, that last little bit of focus. I find that to be so important. And the times that I've really done well in my life are the times that I've prepared really well. I'm ready to go out there, but then I let go of any fear, any hesitation, and I trust that what I have at that moment is good enough to make a difference.
I love that. We had a caller earlier in the show today that was struggling with how to bring focus into their life, how to feel their heart, how to silence all the noises in their mind. And I imagine over the course of your life, you've had a lot of things going on in your mind, a lot of busy schedules. How did you find peace, balance in your life?
Well, I think breathing is an important component to focus. I found the times where I'm able to bring stillness to my day, stillness to performance, made a big difference in my life. I wasn't one of those before a game who turned on loud rock music and sort of rocked out, although I like the emotion and the feel of that. For me, it was always a slower bit of music or a slower time of visualization that allowed me to sort of see what I wanted to do and prepare for what I wanted to do, and that brought the focus, and that allowed focus in. I think that's the key. I don't think you can, you can make focus happen, there's no question, but I think there's also a component of allowing focus to happen, of sort of understanding those influences that can cloud your thinking a little bit and cloud that focus, and being able to eliminate those a little bit or quietly push them aside, creates that breath. It creates that moment-to-moment thinking that is so vital to focus.
Absolutely. I'm relaxed as you're telling me that. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. I'm just curious, and I've been asked this question in my life as well, saying, Nancy, if you could not have RP and not be legally blind, would you? And I'm just curious, in your life, if you could be born with a right hand, if life could have been easier with sports, would you have changed your past?
That's a great question. That's a tough one to answer, and honestly, and I kind of finish up my own personal motivational talk with a question that addresses that. I had my youngest daughter ask me one time if I liked my little hand in a very poignant time, and I thought a lot about that question, and I guess I do, to be honest with you. It hasn't always been easy, as you know. The struggle is hard, and there's definitely times in my life when I didn't like my little hand at all. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to fit in. I wanted things to be easier. But I wouldn't change any of that now. I'm really happy, proud of the things that I've done, and I think being a little bit different and going through a little bit of extra challenge has given me a chance to maybe positively affect other people out there, and I don't know that there's any greater gift in this life.
Oh, I love that. And as we kind of close things up today, what would be your final words of encouragement for those who just want to be you? They want to feel those successes that you've had, or maybe they want to find their own path to being an inspiration for others. Being a life coach, being a teacher, being a mentor. What would you say to those folks?
Well, I love your Live Full Out idea. I love the title and the way the things that you've done in your own life. I think that's what it comes back to: trust. Live full out. Do what you want to do. Find something you'd love to do in this world. I loved to play baseball. I really did, and it gave me a focus and a passion and a chance to channel my energy and my happiness and sometimes my anger. But I was able to live, out there on the edge and having fun and exposed, and that made a huge difference in my life. So find what you love to do and lay it all on the line, and if you fall down, get up and do it again. See what happens tomorrow.
I love that. And Jim, when you go to sleep tonight, if you hear fans in your head, know it's the Living Full Out community cheering, because we think you're amazing. And thank you for sharing all your words of wisdom with us today.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and good luck with your great work and in this world and making a positive impact.
Oh, thank you again. And everybody, that's Jim Abbott, and we really appreciate your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Jim.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. So, what a very powerful interview. I really appreciate the time we had with him. And again, as we go along into our next segment, the last segment, we're taking your calls, 800-333-0001. All of us can reach success and live full out. It's just about taking action and stepping forward. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is President Barack Obama. In the story of America, the greatest chapters are moments of challenge, when we see people serving their country and one another. Volunteers who step forward into hospital corridors and church basements, along levees and fire lines. And the next chapter is yours to help write. Sign up to volunteer at usaservice.org. That's usaservice.org. Let's renew America together.
A message from Renew America Together, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Reaching success in your life is absolutely attainable. It's just about getting creative and putting together an actions plan and steps that will allow you to flourish and grow at a pace that works for you. Don't ever feel pressured, because living full out is about being aware. It's about time and moving forward.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Living Full Out show. Wow, I can't believe we're in the last segment of the show. It goes so fast. But again, we are taking your calls. The number again is 800-333-0001. Honestly, I feel like everybody today who's listening is successful. I really want you to feel that. That's not just words. I want you to think about and be proud about who you are as a person. Sure, we all have accomplishments we want to achieve. We all have, pounds we might want to lose or places we might want to go and haven't gone yet. But I want you to really be with yourself today. Be still and be patient, because successes, the really great ones, they don't come instantly, like a snap of the finger. They don't come overnight. Those overnight successes you hear about, they quickly burn out. I want you to be successful in your life long term. And that comes with being patient. That comes with being proud of every little teeny accomplishment you make in a day, I mean, if you cook a great meal, be proud of yourself. If you get done errands that were on your to-do list forever and that you can finally check them off, be proud of yourself. If you close a deal or you, get a job, be proud of yourself. Whatever you do, do not let the self-talk in your head talk you out of feeling or being successful. Listening to Jim's interview over the last two segments just really hit home to me that we all need to be creative. We all need to be adaptable to situations. Life's going to give us those curveballs. Literally, they're going to throw challenges and obstacles and sometimes tragedies at us that are unexpected. But that doesn't have to define or throw you off your path that you can or cannot have those dreams and goals that you desire. So really, from my heart to you today, I want you to, after this show, think of one accomplishment that you would feel successful around. And I know for myself, I got a whole list of them, but I promise you, I'm going to follow my own words, and I'm going to pick one thing that I know that I can do, if not today, tomorrow. And I'm going to chat with you all online. I will make sure that we all stay in touch and push each other to be our highest and best. We're going to go back to the lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out show. Hello, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi, welcome. So tell us, what's going on today?
What's going on today? I'm doing good so far. I go to San Francisco State University.
Great.
So, just living by slowly, I guess.
Okay, good. And is there an aspect of your life that you need some motivation around?
Right now I'm actually stressing because it's midterms, and I'm feeling like very overwhelmed about things, I overthink a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like I have epilepsy,
Mm-hmm.
and so that kind of affects my way of learning, my education-based life. And so that's kind of stressful for me. And I'm trying to learn how to deal with that while going to school. So.
Yeah. Well, when you get stressed out like you are right now, how do you take care of yourself?
Excuse me?
When you get stressed out like you are right now, how do you take care of yourself?
I'm learning how to do self-care. Self-care is very hard for me when I don't have the time to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I try to eat healthy, I guess, sleep more early, not to think, like cut people off my life that makes me feel stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's kind of unhealthy for me at the moment.
Do you have fear around how your stress would affect your epilepsy? Does that scare you in moments like this?
Yeah, I think stress causes the epilepsy to enhance, more or less. So that's why I'm kind of worried that, if I have epilepsy, I will stress, and if I have stress, I will have epilepsy. So it's just that kind of like dynamic.
When was the last time your epilepsy caused you, obviously to have a seizure or a breakout, or what was the last time?
It was actually 2 weeks ago. Actually, 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Was there a certain
Sunday, Saturday, and Monday? Huh?
Was there a certain event in your life that caused it? Caused you to be so stressed?
Not really. My doctor keeps on changing my medication. Keep on changing my medication. Tell me to change my daily life, but I can't really do that all the time.
Well, so here's the thing. Epilepsy is. I'm sure it is one of those things that is always in the back of your head. It's always in your mind that, you got to maintain your stress and make sure that, you don't have a seizure, that you're able to stay balanced and stay calm. And just so you know, I'm legally blind. I can relate in the sense that when you have a condition that comes with certain fears or unknowns, it can be scary. But at the same time, always remember that your mind and your heart will always be your best advocates, meaning that if you surround yourself with positive thoughts, as positive as you can be, and if you're having a negative day, which we all have, you want to call somebody who can lift you up. You want to listen to music that would lift you up. The mind is very powerful. It can really put us in a negative place, but it can lift us up so high, and it can open the clouds can part, and it can actually let us dream even when we're feeling so heavy. And then also the heart is really important, because if you can feel balance and feel peace in your body, then the stresses of your epilepsy won't control you. Does that make sense? So
basically mind over matter.
It is like mind over matter, exactly. But trusting your heart. Our last guest, Jim Abbott, talked a lot about trust. It's trusting yourself. It's not allowing that seizure, the epilepsies, not allowing that to have so much control over your life. You have the ability to put yourself on a positive path. You have the ability to live a successful life like anybody else. And also, your epilepsy, like my blindness, it's just a sliver of who we are. It does not define who we are. It does not define who we can be. I would rather see you smile, because, oh my gosh, yes, you're in midterms, but you're doing it. You're going to graduate. You're going to have an amazing life. And sometimes when we have conditions in our life that cause us to seek balance or seek peace or maybe move a little slower, you're actually the big winner, because I feel sometimes that those clients that I coach or those people I know in my life who don't have those challenges, they just don't have that same awareness of their body always. So sometimes our conditions, epilepsy for you, blindness for me, it's actually a gift in hindsight.
At first I thought that epilepsy would be like a type of gift that I can turn into a positive entity when I was in high school. But as I got older, it was harder for me because, like, financially I was not stable enough to provide that. Secondly, like, it was just hard to get the medication at the same time, meeting with the doctor. So I realized that as being an adult, there's more aspects. Because my parents used to take care of me through the process of my epilepsy and my seizure. Now, like, I'm old enough to take care of myself. I see the struggle and the work that comes with the chronic illness. So,
yeah. And I know that that's a lot of times where that stress and fear comes from. But remember that you're never going to let yourself down. You're always going to make sure that you give your body what you need. And so again, you have to trust that in yourself. Is it going to be expensive at times? Absolutely. Is it going to be time that you're going to have to go to the doctors? Absolutely. But trust the fact that you will always give yourself what you need. You will never go without. And try to have some peace in that, in knowing that. Okay?
Okay.
But I want to thank you for calling in because, you know, we not only wish you the best in life with balance and calmness and peace, but we want you to do well in school and in life. So keep us posted on how things progress with you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. That last caller, I want to thank her again because sometimes we can feel alone. Sometimes we can feel like all the world's pressures are on our shoulder and how can I stand taller? How can I achieve success when I feel so loaded down? But you always have to remember that you're your best advocate. You're the captain of this ship of life for you. And I don't say that lightly. I mean that. You will not let yourself down. Yes, you're going to get scared. Yes, you're going to feel challenged. But always know that when you look in the mirror, you have a really great person looking out for you. You have the best person looking out for you. I know for myself, when I think about challenges in my life, I know that Nancy will always look out for me. And I actually have this little picture of me when I was like 4 years old that sometimes I look at, and I will tell my younger self, yeah, I'm going to take care of you. Everything's going to work out. And it serves as a good reminder for me to always stay humble, always stay centered. I want to thank everybody today who contributed to the show, all the callers, and Jim Abbott. What a very inspiring interview from him. And you can hear the replay by going to livingfullout.com. I want to thank our Living Full Out family, Ashana, Diane, Rich, Mindy, everybody who puts time and effort into the production of this show. And most of all, I want to thank the listeners, because without you, we would have no show. Honestly, you calling in your questions, keep them coming, because when you ask a question, when you're courageous enough to come on the air, you actually help another listener who can't speak for themselves. Have a great day, and here's to all of you living your life full out, successfully, each and every day.